Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Strong language, mature scenes, and things that go bump in the night are ahead. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to cosmic entities from the great beyond, are strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your keeper this evening, Keeper Michael. My pronouns are he, him, and we're back with Arkham, the Queen of the Night, as part of our Arkham Investigation series. We want to welcome you in, and thank you for listening. And so what we're going to do is get directly to play, and to do that, I need a table of amazing investigators. Luckily for you, I have them, and so we'll begin with introductions to my right.
Hi there, this is Mike, and I am playing Charles Thurgood. Our pronouns are he, him, and I am off to a little investigation at a certain hospital to the north of Arkham Town.
Indeed. You are planning on paying someone a visit. I can't wait for you to visit them. And next to Mr. Thurgood.
Hi, this is Morgan, and I am playing Annie Mae Thurgood. Our pronouns are she, her, and I am the better-looking and younger sister, I think it is, twin sister to Charles Thurgood. And me and Detective Black, are going over to I'm going to call it a sanitarium.
Certainly reasonable. Many of the local folks who live within Arkham would still call it a sanitarium. It has recently been purchased and has been given a different name, which we will get to shortly, next to Annie Mae.
Hi, my name is Bunny. I'm playing Detective Beatrice Locks. Our pronouns are she, her. I'm just remembering to keep that tool ever so useful of stoking the egos of egotistical seeming men.
Yeah. Lots of fun last episode. And last, most certainly not least.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I play Catherine Chamberlin. And I'm just glad that my parents are alive after whatever vicious, brutal attack they suffered.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they're alive too. And I'm certain that nothing terrible else will befall them. Promise. So we're going to begin tonight as we lift the curtain. We're going to do so as really evening is drawing nigh here on November 2nd. And that will be as Charles has made his way to a building that many of our Arkhamites might know as Arkham Sanitarium, but having recently been purchased and renovated, it is now the Pickering Psychopathic Hospital. It is not too terribly far from the police station where he was at, and so he will just head up Marsh Street and then down Kerwin and all the way over until he connects with the hospital on East Derby Street. So, Charles, approaching this location, the hospital has been around for a very long time. Barring any name changes, it is still the same structure which you are at least mildly aware of. Well-maintained grounds, 10-foot wrought iron fence. You can see that all of the windows here have protective bars, of course. And then the actual structure itself is a Georgian mansion. So it's been constructed and was originally done so by John Adams Pickering and then left at one point from family, was purchased by Arkham. And then it seems anyway that the newer owner, 1922, you believe, had purchased it and is bringing it back to its former Pickering glory.
I think it being a November evening, getting dark if it's not already dark, Charles will have a nice warm coat wrapped around him, possibly even a scarf and a pair of gloves as well to keep him warm as he strides purposefully towards the hospital. Kind of looks around at the gates, at the grounds, up the path. Is there a doorbell, or is it see the windows that you can see through in the doors to see if there's activity in the kind of reception area?
Well, you were met at the gate, actually, by a gentleman who you have heard of before. A man by the name of Thomas who mans the gate here. Very affable gentleman. He's actually known through some of the historical societies because he's been known to assist those looking for information or records to able to perhaps divine some special knowledge of records that might go back in the past where there are no families available to speak of. And he's been known to be a friend to the Arkham Historical Society in that regard occasionally.
So he's not just a security guard at the gate, then he's a little bit more than that.
A little bit more. He meets you at the gate.
Oh, good evening, Thomas, isn't it?
Yes. Charles?
Charles Thurgood, yes, Charles Thurgood from the Historical Society. Perhaps you recall, I believe you were at one of the lectures that I put on there a while ago about the
It was.
Mesoamerican period and roughly the indigenous populations there of the late 14th and early 15th century.
This is fascinating work. What's got you out here in this weather?
I am working in association with the Arkham Police Department at present. They have taken me on as a subject matter expert, I believe is the term. And I'm, as I say, assisting them with their inquiries, which brings me here this chilly November eve.
Oh, well, I would normally say that visiting hours are over, but if you're working with the Arkham Police Department, please, let me just... He fishes into his pocket and takes out a heavy wrought iron key and unlocks the iron gate and then opens it. Come in. Let's get you up to the house.
Thank you.
He locks the door behind him, which gives you a little bit of a stir for a moment.
Can't be too careful, I suppose, with some of the residents of the institution.
Well, it's not just the residents, but it's the people who work here. He sort of chuckles there. They're men of policy, you understand, Charles. Men of policy.
Of course. I quite understand. In fact, now I think of it, perhaps you might be able to help me. You have some, what I might call encyclopedic knowledge of the history of Arkham and this particular piece of its architecture. Have you, well, in your time here, come across a family by the name of Moore?
He nods in immediate acknowledgement. Yes, Miss Lillian Moore is inside.
Ah, yes. Now, this is exactly the sort of understanding and knowledge that I'm looking for and can really help the police and myself with this investigation. What do you know of Miss Moore?
Oh, well, brought here 1920, about 7 or so years now. She's been in our care for some time after her parents perished in a fire.
Yes.
I believe she was distraught at the death of her parents, and they felt it best to have her convalesce here. Unfortunately, the child's made no real progress.
She was 17, 18 at the time? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and what I understand is that when this tragedy struck, she wasn't actually present in the house. Her two sisters, I believe, were very lucky to escape with their lives.
Yes, that's what I understand as well. She's not been coherent enough, at least in my earshot, to talk much about it, but I understand that she had a few sisters, and I understand that they haven't visited.
They haven't? Oh, dear. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That is somewhat surprising, yes. Who was it who had her? I mean, I'm assuming that she's not a volunteer. Is she here voluntarily, or was she committed by the city? Or
Yes, and well, not just by the city, but the state.
Really?
It became clear during some of her initial meetings and in post-doctor's visits that she was not stable enough to be out in society. And so one of the doctors here, an earlier part of his practice, rushed the papers through to have the state give him the right to commit her to convalesce here until she was thoroughly better.
Splendid. Perhaps you might know the name of her doctor? Perhaps I might be able to speak with them?
Oh, yes, if he's available, absolutely. Depending upon the hour, of course.
Of course.
He gets gets to the front door with you and then takes out another key, unlocks it, and then lets you into, well, what can only be termed as a psychopath hospital. Thomas says, Dr. Fernald is her doctor. He's a decent man, good at his job as far as I know.
Fernald.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Well, thank you. You've been an absolute treasure trove of information, Thomas. I really do appreciate it. Well, are you a married man, Thomas? Any children?
He chuckles. Yes, I have 2 boys.
Well, how about you buy them something nice for Christmas? And I'll give him a small token of my appreciation for his help.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that. He tucks your appreciation into his pocket.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
And you are left to the receiving room, the lobby of this hospital. There's a counter where there's obviously nurses. Looks like there's just one. Thomas sort of calls over and says, Mr. Thorogood here is okay. He's on official business.
Yes, that's correct.
The nurse nods and says, just go ahead and sign in if you would, sir.
Oh, of course, my pleasure. So when I sign in, I'm just going to take a moment to sort of quickly scan the names just to see if any other names are in the sign-in book that I might recognize.
Maybe 1 or 2, but nothing directly associated with the cases. Charles is somebody who's
just nosy.
Yeah, sure. Certainly plugged into Arkham Society. You don't see anybody that would make you sort of raise an eyebrow and go, oh, interesting, they're here. The nurse says, where can we direct you to?
I am working at present with the Arkham PD. We are engaged upon an investigation. I can't divulge the particulars, I'm afraid, but I would like, if I may, to speak to Dr. Fernald. Is that correct pronunciation? Thomas mentioned his name, but I didn't recognize it.
Yes, of course. Let me ring him if you'll just wait for a moment.
Of course.
You wait in the lobby. She actually goes to not a telephone, but she goes to what looks like a series of pulleys and ropes. You see her pull one.
That's an interesting contraption you have there. Does that ring bells in other parts of the building?
It does, yes. It will ring Dr. Fernald's level, and they should be down with us shortly.
Well, that's very kind of you. I'm just going to kind of stroll around the lobby looking at things.
Well, it's just traditionally a sanitarium, and so everything here is calming colors. There's a bit of coldness in the air given the season. The windows are probably a little different from the inside given the fact that you can see the bars in them now. There's not a whole lot of other people in the lobby either. There's an orderly that's probably cleaning up or wheeling a patient through. Everything's very calm and quiet.
I'll smile and nod at anyone that catches my eye. And are there any paintings or anything like that in here?
Yep. There's a painting of a man on the wall here. He's got sort of a green bowler hat on and a sort of bright blue tie and then this gaudy brown jacket. And it lists his name. Underneath the plaque itself, it says Charles Pickering.
Ah, the redoubtable Mr. Pickering himself, or to be Dr. Pickering. A fine fellow.
You are beset upon by a pair of business shoes, post haste. The sound of them click up the hallway. You see a man in his likely late 40s approach you. He has a distinguished suit on.
I'll move towards him to greet him, hand extended. Dr. Fernald, I assume?
Yes, you can call me Paul.
Charles Thorogood. Please call me Charles.
He extends a hand deeper in towards the sanitarium and says, if you'll follow me.
Of course.
So, what seems to be the inquiry?
Doctor, I don't know if your nurse on reception there informed you, but I am currently engaged in an investigation as a subject matter expert with the Arkham PD. We have a case that we are working on, which is of a most serious nature. I'm afraid I can't divulge the particulars to you, but I can say that it's a very high-profile case, very important, and there is a certain amount of pressure from the upper echelons of Arkham Society and the police department to solve the case quickly, which is why they have brought myself and my sister as well, who is also an expert in her own field, in as a consultant. Now, to that end, we would like, if we may, to learn a little bit about the Moore family, and I understand one of the Moore sisters, Lillian, has been with the sanitarium for a number of years now.
Yes. He turns into a hallway and begins heading up a long flight of stairs. I have worked with Lillian since she came in. We have been working diligently to try to get her to be more verbal.
She does not speak, then?
No, Mr. Thurgood. She speaks. She speaks quite often and at great length.
Really? I don't quite follow. You're trying to encourage her to be verbal, yet she does speak?
Yes. What I'm trying to get her to do is be more cognizant of what she says.
Ah, I see. I'm with you now. Delirious rambling is a type of affair. Is that what you're alluding to?
Yes. Not only that, but she seems to have picked up some rather colorful language from the staff.
Oh, goodness me. I am a man of experience in the world. You'll find I'm very hard to shock.
Good. And this will not come much as a shock to you. She can be quite liberal with her spirit.
I think I follow your meaning. If I may, could I start at the beginning? Were you here at the hospital when she was first admitted? What can you tell me about the circumstances of her committal here?
I was here, although I'm not the sole force behind her commitment. I was here when she was admitted, and she suffered from the easiest thing I could equate it to would be shell shock. It's like dealing with a patient who had been to war. I have some experience with dealing with patients from the war, and I was able to foster her in a better direction, one where she was easier to talk to. Sometimes she gets on this completely strange tangent, and other times she'll just ignore conversation entirely. It is a really daily work that is most helpful for her. We talk about the weather. We talk about birds. She's very interested in birds.
Ah, interesting. Interested in birds. Any particular kind of birds, or just birds in general?
Blackbirds, ravens.
Ah, the corvid family, I believe.
Quite interested in them.
Well, I suppose everyone has to have a hobby of some sort.
Well, we've tried to encourage her to take up drawing or painting, perhaps, to use the artistic expression to maybe try to show us what she's really trying to say.
I understand they're having some very positive results in Europe with engaging in artistic pursuits as a form of therapy.
Yes. And he seems to sort of earnestly turn to you for a moment as you're continuing to get closer to what you believe is Lillian's room. And he looks genuinely passionate about it. And he said that there are treatments that are working. What's important is that we do not give up.
Well put, sir. Very well put. Absolutely. I must say I am not an expert by any means on the type of therapeutic practices that you may engage in here. I believe that there are some drug treatments, water treatment, electroconvulsive treatment that can prove quite efficacious on certain cases, but I am a layman. Do you believe, then, that the circumstances that led to her condition when she was admitted were as a direct result of the terrible, terrible tragedy that befell the family house and brought about the death of her parents and a very lucky escape of her two sisters?
I do think this was her breaking point. A very difficult thing for a child that young, but barely 17.
Yes, I understand she was not in the house at the time. She was out, presumably out at the picture house or something like that.
My understanding is that she was collecting flowers for her mother.
Oh, somehow that makes it all the more tragic.
He gets to a door and stops.
The poor dear.
All right, Charles, we'll just step in and we'll see what Lillian has to say.
Is there any topic that I should avoid, or no sudden movements or anything like that?
Well, she's not a hunting cat as far as I know, but I would say if you were going to speak about her or to her family, I would say take each question in a measured approach. A battery of questions might be more difficult for her to deal with.
I see. One more thing before we go in. I understand neither of her sisters have been to visit her during all the years she's been incarcerated here. Is that correct? Is there some rift between them?
Well, you see him look up and down the hallway before he leans into you and says, her sister Amelia tried to visit, but I don't think her husband Irving was interested.
I see, yes.
I had a note, a piece of mail from Amelia at one point where she wanted to visit Lillian and they requested visitation times, and we applied, but there came no second communication.
I understand the social stigma and so forth. Yes, I'm with you.
Very well. He unlocks the door and steps in. What you see inside this patient room is something that you are not expecting. A bed which looks mostly well-made, almost as if it's not used. There's a bath chair, and you see Lillian sitting in the bath chair in a dressing gown. And she has really long black hair. And when I mean really long, Charles, I mean like easily down to her waist, if not further. It is straight. It is raven black. And she stares up at you through the sort of the slits in the hair. And you can see that her eyes are like emerald green.
Is there another chair in the room?
There are several, actually. There are 2 chairs in the room. You also notice that one of the chairs looks to be anchored or bracketed to the wall, like it can't move. There is a chair that can move, though.
I'll just kind of look to the doctor just to get his approval for me taking a chair and placing it sort of across from Lillian.
He nods to you.
I'll do that then and kind of sit down on it, brush some lint off my knee, real or imaginary, and kind of look her in the eye. Does she look like the drawing and the description that we've got?
No, she does not look like the drawing or the description. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Charles, first of all, what is your POW?
Oh, my goodness me. My POW is 60.
She's in her bath chair and sort of not hunched forward, but just a little bit forward. And she's looking up through this raiment of black hair. And she sits back in the chair and she lets the hair fall back, comes away from her face. And then you realize the next thing that is true. She is in a dressing gown, but like the easiest I could equate it to is that it has essentially now been altered, and it has a very now revealing neckline. And when she sits back in the chair, you realize that Lillian Moore is quite a beautiful woman. 7 years in the sanitarium has not dimmed her beauty.
So I'll kind of sit forward a little bit in the chair and look at her and put on my best, most sort of avuncular smile and say, "Hello, Lillian. My name's Charles. Would you mind if I spoke with you a while?"
She turns her head to look at you, and there's at least a 2 or 3 second pause, and then she turns and looks at the doctor and raises an eyebrow. The doctor seems to react. Dr. Fernald reacts to this, and he says, "It's all right, Lillian. Charles here is a friend of the hospital who's trying to understand a few things that only you can help us with. Maybe you could answer just a couple of his questions, and we can see where the rest of them take us."
Dr. Fernald tells me that you like birds. Is that correct?
Her voice comes out like poured honey, and she says, "I like an awful lot of things, but sure, I like birds."
I like birds too. I have a little bird house and feeder in my garden, and I like to spend an afternoon every so often watching our little feathered friends come and peck at the nuts in the feeder and make their nests in the little birdhouse. I find it very soothing. You find birds soothing, Lillian?
Sometimes. I used to like to peck at nuts, but they don't let me do that here anymore.
Oh, well, and his cheeks go a very kind of red color.
Dr. Fernard steps in a little bit and says, now, Lillian, let's be polite. There's no reason to not be polite.
Oh, no, it's quite all right, Doctor. It's quite all right. I see Miss Moore is quite a high-spirited young lady. Yes, quite right, yes. You should meet my sister, Miss Moore. She's a very spirited young woman as well, knows her own mind and doesn't take no for an answer.
She seems almost intrigued.
If I might, I would like to talk to you a little bit about your family. Would that be all right with you?
Sure.
I understand that you have two sisters. Am I correct? Myrtle and Amelia?
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't seen them in some time.
She went to him. She found him.
I'm sorry?
She's taking us to him.
Who is taking you to who? To whom?
She turns the window right by her and she screams, "Why are you taking us to him?"
I kind of look at the doctor.
He looks really concerned.
It's all right, Lillian. You're quite safe here. Nobody's going to take you to anyone.
The forest men, they're always choking me. She claws at like this gown that she has on. The men, the nightmare men, the old men, the frightened men. I can see their fear. The future of fire and blood.
Tell me about the forest men. What can you tell me about the forest men? Who are these men? Do they live in the forest?
The forest is all around us. It holds us very close. It lets us slip down into the swampy ground and holds our body. She looks intoxicated now. She has this really strange visage.
The swampy ground, you say? Any particular swampy ground?
It's a bog. It's not far. She's there.
Is Anne there, Lillian?
Her head sort of leans back. She goes silent. Dr. Fernald leans into you. This is sometimes occasionally what happens when she talks about her family. She gets very upset.
This is interesting. I think we're making progress. Tell me about Hop Little. Do you know who I mean by Hop Little?
He's gone. She sort of sits up in the chair. He's gone. Myrtle made a baby, though.
A baby?
Mm-hmm.
But Myrtle was just a child.
She ain't a child no more.
Have you seen Myrtle since the fire?
She takes a reasonably manicured finger and taps on the side of her head. All the time.
Where is Myrtle, Lillian?
She's above the trees. Those men can't grab her anymore. Sometimes I see Myrtle and I see Amelia, and I have this dream where we're queens. Queens of the night.
Where did you hear that phrase, Lillian?
He tells me we can be queens.
Who is he, Lillian? Who is this person that tells you?
She grabs onto the side of the bath chair, like the handles. She sits forward and she says, "The master tells me. He's been telling me for years."
What happened to your parents, Lillian? What really happened that night? Were you out gathering flowers or something else?
Flowers. Is that what they told you?
That's what they told me.
I didn't gather no flowers. No petals. But what I gathered was red.
And did he tell you to do that as well?
How else am I going to be a queen if I don't have subjects? I'll make it easy on you. Kneel and kiss my feet.
Now, Lillian, you know that I can't do that.
She lifts up just the tiniest bit of her outfit, just to see you see ankle, which is probably socially just, oh my God, how would you do that?
Yeah, he swallows hard. Lillian,
Mm-hmm.
you know I'm not going to do that, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I know.
You know that people are getting hurt. People are getting hurt real bad. We have to put a stop to that. Innocent people, Lillian. Up on the hill. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think I'm tired.
All right, Lillian. All right.
She wilts back into the chair, exhausted.
I kind of look up at the doctor and then stand up. I'd like to talk to you again, Lillian, after you've rested, if I may. Or maybe you would rather talk to my sister. Or the police. But I don't think you really want to talk to the police, do you?
She doesn't seem to answer. She just sort of lets her head roll around on her shoulders.
All right, doctor. Thank you. Thank you, Lillian.
She doesn't answer. The doctor stands up and goes to the door. At this point, Detective Locke and Miss Thorogood arrive at the sanitarium. Provided that you are providing your Arkham police investigation story, Thomas at the gate will let you in, and they let you towards the front door where you will get entrance into the lobby. The doctor walks you, Charles, back downstairs, barring any sidebars that you feel you need with him.
I'd like to take a look at Miss Moore's records, if I might.
I think I'm going to need a little bit more legal firmament to stand on. Patient records are very private.
I understand. I'm sure that I can have a talk with the lead detective in this case, who is very close with the chief of police, and I'm sure that one of our judges will be able to provide a warrant in order for us to view the records. But really, I have to say, time is of the essence where this particular case is concerned, and to get tangled up in all the red tape and that I think I can tell you that people's lives may be in danger here. Now, you don't want to be in any sense responsible for someone's life being further placed in danger, do you?
Oh, of course not, Charles. I just have to make sure that what we're doing is right.
Oh, of course, I understand fully, and be assured, I will take full responsibility should any untoward consequences come of the information that you provide for me in this investigation.
Let me talk with the lead detective and perhaps I can work something out.
Of course. I believe that she has an intention of joining us here at some point.
Good. You get down to the lobby, at which point you run into your sister and the detective.
Anyway, Detective Locke, splendid. I've just been speaking with this gentleman, Dr. Paul Frenold.
Yeah. Dr. Frenold, he extends his hand.
Frenold, I do beg your pardon.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Frenold. I'm Detective Beatrice Locke with the Arkham Police.
Yes, I'd heard you'd deputized Charles here.
Absolutely. What? Excuse me, I absolutely not. He is a consultant on this case. I would not use the word deputy, Mr. Thurgood.
I said I was a consultant, a subject matter expert.
That's what it was. My apologies, Detective. Subject matter expert, that's what he used.
There is at least one antique that is related to the case that Mr. Thurgood has provided wonderful insight on, and his knowledge of the history of the area and related items has been very helpful. Same with his sister's expertise. They've both been wonderful consultants on this case. But I believe, considering where you were just coming from, you've been talking to or about one of the Moore sisters?
Yes, we just spoken with Lillian.
How did that go? How is she? I don't know a lot about her state, unfortunately.
I think it went well, all things considered. She certainly does seem to be possessed of a singular character.
She has a condition where she is being, of course, has been treated for some time when it comes to stress and agitations and other mental infirmities. Sometimes she does not speak at all. Other times she speaks wildly about situations that have no basis in perhaps their dreams or whatnot.
Do you know much about her family?
Oh, I know a little bit about her family. I understand, roughly speaking, that there are 3 of them. I understand that her mother and father perished in a fire, as Charles and I spoke of earlier. I understand that Lillian was outside of the house when that fire happened, and that Amelia had been married and lives elsewhere in Arkham, and there has been very little understanding of where her sister Myrtle has gone to.
I see. Do you know anything of their aunt? They have a living aunt in the area named Cornelia Lowe.
Yes, actually, Miss Lowe is somewhat of a well-known figure in the medical community here. In certain circles, of course. She's an expert midwife and is well known to be able to do midwifery for both humans and animals as well. She has something of a knack for it and has had a long reputation as being someone that one could trust. Although we, of course, have never seen her here, within certain medical circles, I'm somewhat familiar with her.
Does Lillian ever have any visitors? Or has she over the last 7 years?
Nothing official. She has occasionally mentioned that she has seen her sisters, but of course the visitor logs are pretty well documented.
Sure.
You say nothing official. Would there be unofficial visits?
No, the hospital here is strictly against them. What I mean is there is an iron on the windows and around the fence line for a reason. Some patients here need constant care, but that has not precluded some people from attempting to enter the facility without approval.
Of course. Doctor, just curious, have you ever seen this woman around your premises or around town? And I'll hold up the police sketch.
Oh, no, she doesn't look familiar to me. Sorry, should I recognize her?
No, it might not be related. I'm sorry. Is there any chance that official police business, could either talk to Lillian again tonight or come back tomorrow and also have a chance to look at her file and make some notes for police documentation? It will not be shared beyond a few potential notes. There's just gaps in record of Lillian, and if I may, and I'm going to step sort of aside so that I'm farther from the front desk, an heirloom of their family that's been missing for some years was found at a murder scene earlier this week. And while I know that Lillian has been here, obviously, and I don't suspect her sisters were directly involved potentially, if any of them know of when it might have left their family's possession or anything like that, it'd be very helpful. Or, anything that might allude to if Lillian might know where her sister could be outside of dreams, or anything that I might glean from this would help with an ongoing murder investigation of someone who may act again.
Yes, I understand the need. I could, under supervision, allow you to look at some of the records, but certainly no direct copies or anything like that. You could certainly take some notes from them, provided there was cause, which there seems to be. If there has been a murder, then as the papers have put, and if you believe that they might strike again, I certainly would not want to feel or to be responsible for holding back important information, detective. So yes, if you'd like to come back tomorrow morning, I can meet you here and we can go over those records together.
That would be fantastic. Thank you. I will also be visiting with her sister Amelia in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was at their house earlier this evening and spoke with her husband, and I'll be going back in the morning to speak with Amelia herself. But this also means that if you think it would be in Lillian's best interest, I could bring message from her sister to her, or message from her to her sister, if that might be something that would help Lillian's state of mind.
No, not to be improper, but if the message is allowed to leave, you see, Amelia did try to contact Lillian years ago. The hospital did offer to make an appointment time available for Amelia to come and see her sister, but we received no reply, and so we assumed that perhaps Mr. Purcell was not very interested in having the sisters catch up.
That I understand what you mean, and I will so note that, but should she choose to leave message with me, and should it happen to make it here, if that wouldn't be harmful to Lillian's state, then I might be inclined to do so.
I think there's no reason not to try.
Then I will be back here tomorrow morning or shortly after lunch, whichever feels more appropriate. I know some people tend to be better earlier in the day, as it were.
Indeed. And not to be rude in any way, but visiting hours have been over for about an hour.
Of course. So I will see you again tomorrow during the day. And thank you so much for the information. I will take these two out of your hair as I go.
Of course.
But can I come back and talk to Miss Lillian Moore as well? With you, Detective?
You may accompany me.
I told Miss Moore about you, Annie May.
We can talk about this outside. Thurgood siblings, please.
Oh, of course, yes. Good night.
Okay, so we will leave the Thurgoods. I'm assuming Thurgoods, given the hour, you're not going to continue investigating in the evening. Head home.
Head home, I think.
But we could go to the woods, Charles.
No, Annie May, we are not going to the wood. No, we are not going. We're going to go home and we're going to compare notes, and then we are going to have a good night's sleep. And tomorrow morning we will start fresh. We will have a hearty breakfast, and then we will pursue this investigation to its end. I think we've made real strides today. I must tell you all about the discussion I've had with Miss Moore. It's quite fascinating. Of course, Detective.
Mr. Thurgood, get home to supper, as I have stolen another day in its fullness from you and your sister. Annie May I apologize for not buying you that dinner tonight. I'll buy you all the meals you like tomorrow. But I think that for now, Charles, you compare notes. I am very eager to hear everything that you have discovered today. I have a few loose ends to look into myself. And do you mind if I meet up with you in the morning and bring you with me for my appointments?
Yes, we have to talk about Miss Amelia. I got a chance to talk to her while you were questioning Mr. Purcell. And I'm really concerned about Amelia's well-being, living in that house with her husband. She had some bruises, and she's really very medicated. I'm just really concerned that he's maybe harming her.
Charles really bristles at this. Oh, well, perhaps we should go there straight away and hash it out with him.
No, I've met his type before, between the steely butler that will not talk unless directly permitted to, and the air of Edwardian gentleman that Mr. Purcell sees himself as, or at least the caliber of.
Cowards and bullies, the pack of them. I'm sorry, I feel very strongly about this.
I do not disagree, but as a police officer, I must say, these types of situations can only become more dangerous for the other party if we just go knock on his door, accuse him of a bunch of things, say that we snuck in to see his wife that he said not to talk to tonight, and then leave her there. That is a terrible set of circumstances, and we cannot take her from this house for no reason tonight, especially if she does not want to leave it with us. So tonight, we compare notes. We discuss. We're being permitted into their house again first thing in the morning tomorrow, and we will talk to her. I will talk to her. We can discuss what you saw, Annie May, in the morning while we prepare to go over there before we're at their front door in front of them. We can go with a game plan. We can go with questions to ask. But doing anything rash tonight could only see her either more drugged up tomorrow, if she is drugged, more drugged up tomorrow to a point where she wouldn't be able to answer our questions, or make him not want to let her see us after all. So we've just got to go in with a plan.
I have a plan, a damn good thrashing. That's the only language these sorts understand.
The thrashing will have to not happen, or you will not be able to come with us. Charles, you will put this woman's life in danger if he is a danger to her.
Very well, Detective. I suppose you know best. One thing you should know. I believe Lillian set the fire that killed her parents.
All right. That is quite the information.
I don't have conclusive proof of this, but certainly her manner and some of the things she said led me to that conclusion. She certainly wasn't out picking flowers, as the story has it. According to her, this is.
I think we need to find Cornelia.
And her sister has a baby, Myrtle.
Thank you very much for your time. Again, I will catch up with you after I tie up loose ends tonight, and we will catch up on everything tomorrow while we formulate a game plan for the Purcell house.
Absolutely, Detective. Charles, let's be on our way.
Anyway, good night, Detective.
So what we're going to do then is move to Miss Chamberlin, who is at the police department. So it has been a harrowing night for you, Miss Chamberlin. You have been sitting here in a very similar room to the one you met the artist in not but hours ago. And you have been given water or coffee, depending upon your desire. And you've been asked to have a basic, just give them a basic rundown of what happened, what you found, so that way when they investigate this attack, they can have a better understanding of where it might have come from. They go through some very similar and simple questions. So, do you know of any problems or troubles that your parents might have had with someone in the city? Do you know if maybe your father, had somebody who he disagreed with his work? Just things like that.
And I answer all of the questions as truthfully and best as I can, but my father never really talked a ton about his work, and especially about the people who came into his work, considering that what he did for work was bury people.
Right. Yeah, but undertakers get a lot of people who maybe don't like the way their family member appears during a visitation, or maybe they don't like the plot that they were able to get a hold of and would like them moved, or think they should be in a completely different cemetery, and so there's objections over to where the body's going to go.
So a lot of that my dad wouldn't have brought home with him to the dinner table because he didn't really like to talk about work while we were eating, even though, my mom married him knowing what he did for work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if there were any potential disagreements, like, he keeps very thorough records at the office, and I'm sure that the other people he works with would be happy to let the police take a look at, especially any of the more recent people who were buried, to see if that would help provide any leads, because it's not like I have access to his, personal books or anything. It's not like my father had died and then I inherited all of his stuff and had to comb through it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them, what time I got there, and the fact that the house was kind of eerily quiet, and when I came in, there, this long streak of blood, and I tell them about the picture that I had seen of probably extended family that I don't really know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know if that was damaged on purpose or if it was damaged in a potential altercation. I don't know. I just know that I got to my parents' house and was going to stay and visit, maybe have dinner, and I found them like that.
Okay. So they are planning on sort of asking you if your plan is to go back to your dormitory or if you want to stay here.
I'm going to go back to my dorm, and I will just have whatever I had with me. I didn't have a ton of stuff when I went to the station or anything.
Yeah, you drive back. On the ride back, you get sort of overcome with this similar feeling you had when you were talking to the detective on the phone. I guess the best way to think about it is that you sort of zone out. It's not terribly far from the police station to your dorm room, but in the lights on the street, you feel this strange feeling come over your body. And you feel yourself above Arkham again, sailing over rooftops and like moving in between chimneys. And the toughest part for you to deal with is that you realize that you can tell the path that you are on through the sky is mimicking the path the car is taking to the university.
So I'm basically having like an out-of-body experience while I'm awake.
Yes.
That's concerning.
Indeed it is. And I think that for me, that's as good a time as any to end. So we'll pick up tomorrow. Fresh day, November 3rd. All sorts of new experiences awaiting our investigators as we continue The Queen of the Night on the Old Ways podcast. Thank you and good night.